Robots and AI are a bigger threat to humanity.
Your luck would have it, you probably would have an AI boss.
All of these creative jobs are also at a bit of a risk.
I think Apple missed the bus. People misusing AI rather than AI taking the humanity.
Welcome to DeepTalks, Krish. You've built such a fascinating career as a tech leader, right? You're quite popular as a tech leader. And you've driven some organizations to innovations, to digital transformations, and we're talking some really big organizations here. I also admire this part about you that you've built some complex technologies, simplified it to make people's lives better. Right? And I also know that you have an AI patent that you've applied for.
Yes.
And that's for your AI neuron search engine, if I'm not wrong.
Neural engine, yes.
Neural engine. Wow, that's fascinating, right? And with so much going around in the tech world, the AI world right now, I'm really looking forward to this conversation to talk about everything AI and to talk about what the future holds, because there's so many things innovating every single day, and you just can't catch up. So let's dive in. But before we get into the deep AI questions, let's talk about your personal journey. You've had this remarkable career, right? And this journey of AI and tech, what drew you into this business? Was it something like one moment that was like, yes, this is my calling for being a part of this AI and tech industry?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Jatin, and really appreciate the invite, and glad to be here. I would say it's lots of interesting turn of events that happened, instead of one event that is calling.
Okay.
So, I was good at computers and coding, and all, but always wanted to get into police force as an IPS officer.
Right.
And it was in the last year of my bachelor's, as part of a project that I developed this chat platform.
Right.
Called Jingles.
Yeah.
And it was, written on C++ and WinSock and SMB protocol. And frankly, I did this to impress few of my classmates, but it was a huge hit throughout the campus and the university as well. And then, suddenly the dream of police officer kind of vanished, and me becoming the South Indian Steve Jobs kind of a thing
Right.
had come, right? Eventually I did, start my career as an entrepreneur, built and exited 2 product companies. I still miss being that police officer sometimes,
Right.
but yeah, no complaints.
Maybe in the future?
Well, I think the time has passed, but yeah.
The ship has sailed, right?
Yes.
Right. Now let's talk about AI. Everyone's talking about it, and it's a talk of the town. Obviously, new technologies arriving every single day. We know that DeepSeek arrived in the last couple of days, and how much the world has changed. I don't know if it's temporary or for good, but there has been a change, and you can't deny that.
Yeah.
How is AI changing our world as we know it? And do you personally use, I'm sure you use, but which is that one AI tool that you use regularly?
Okay. So the first one, the question about how is it going to change the world?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about a decade, right? Decade usually is not a right measure to see something changing at a global scale. But the rate at which the technology is changing now, one day in AI world is equal to probably a year when compared to the past. So, it's absolutely going to change the world, as we know it in the last, 10 years.
Right.
Let me give you some examples of what I think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
AI is going to be everywhere. AI is going to impact every organization, every individual, every industry as we know it. And, you'd probably be seeing AI agents and AI-powered robots sitting as your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And if, as your luck would have it, you probably would have an AI boss, right? So we're talking about genetic engineering,
Mm-hmm.
The biotech, the advancements in those fields will probably be solving the genetic disorders that we thought it's not going to be, solvable at all.
Right.
And you would probably have the lifespan expanded to multiple times. And you would have lab-grown human, let's say, body, parts that are being developed in the labs,
Right.
etc. Quantum computing is going to solve complex problems that we never thought was possible to solve.
Right.
Now, in advancements of quantum computing, in material science, and in climate modeling, would actually give you the possibilities of even correcting the climate, impact that we have in today's world. Now, another interesting thing is this brain-computer interface. Suddenly you will have the possibilities of reacting to or talking to gadgets just by your thoughts.
Which is already there, right?
Which is
the Neuralink. Is it Neuralink?
Neuralink is
Neuralink.
just started, and I think you will have tens of Neuralinks that will come,
right.
And the possibilities are endless. You can solve neuro issues that the humans have as well, right? Now, if you're talking about transportation, now humans don't have to learn driving anymore in the next 10 years or so, because autonomous vehicles will really take over the world, and probably flying cars will be there. Now, Web3 and decentralized systems will actually bring the control back to the individual users. You would have the control of the data, the content that you created, and your finances and your decision making. That's going to be a big thing as well. Now, mobiles, from being that handheld, it's actually going to be becoming a wearable or a engineered, let's say, embedding technology kind of a thing, right? So, everything you will see will be in the field of sight that you will have from your eyes, and you can actually think on it and do action. So the screens probably will not make any big difference, right? And last but not the least, robotics. It's going to become a household thing, and I believe, in 10 years, it's going to be, a huge change. Walking, talking, working, and living with robots.
We've seen some robots helping out shoppers with their shopping bags.
Absolutely.
It's Optimus.
Yes.
From Tesla.
Yes. Yeah. And I know there are lots of great robotic companies. 1X is there. Figure Robots are there. Boston Dynamics is a great leader. Now, you've seen industrial robots like Kaku and ABB already revolutionizing healthcare and, let's say, manufacturing industries. But I believe this is the year of personal robots.
Right.
And, it's going to take people by storm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, visualize the future. How will it be having robots sitting next to you instead of like human colleagues, or having a boss to report to who's actually a robot? And this is, I can't even have a picture in my head very clearly, how the future will look like. I think the complete shape of cities, even with the flying taxis, which Dubai is going to introduce, I think in a couple of years.
Yes.
Everything, the entire dynamics is going to change. And it's really exciting times that we live in.
I absolutely agree, yes.
Right. Now, talking about generative AI, ChatGPT, is that tool that you're using extensively? Because for me, ChatGPT has changed the way I work. I'm using ChatGPT for every single productive use within my organization.
Yeah.
So much so, and one of my questions to you after this will be, what happens to the Google search engine? Because I'm hardly using Google search engine since the arrival of ChatGPT.
So the number of AI tools that I use are plenty. If I have to do some research, if I have to do some brainstorming ideas, come up with some intelligent, let's say, thought process, I use ChatGPT. For image creation, I use DALL-E or, Midjourney. And for video creation, then I go to Runway. And if it is related to, some help with development kind of a thing, then I go to Copilot, GitHub Copilot. If I want some ML libraries, machine learning libraries, I go to Hugging Face. If I have to present something, or if I have to prepare a storyboard kind of a thing, then I go to Gamma. So the list goes on and on.
Right.
You asked about ChatGPT and its impact on Google, right?
Yeah.
Now, absolutely agree. It really depends on what one searches on. Now, in my personal experience, let's say if I were to go and do some research, some brainstorming ideas, some deep understanding of concepts, I almost always go to ChatGPT. But for everything else, Google is still my gateway to the internet. If I have to search something, quick facts or real-time alerts, or some information of products and things like that, I still use Google. Now, let's also understand that the Google search market share is 83%.
Right.
And even if you consider every prompt in ChatGPT as a search, it still holds up to only 4.3% when compared to Google's massive let's say market share. Now, I think it's not a concern for Google, but it's a wake-up call. And they've listened to it. Google has now started introducing Gemini, their powerful LLM, into Google search. So if they do this carefully, they don't have to be worried about open AI coming up with or taking their search pie. If they don't, then yes, there is the cause of concern.
Right. Yeah. So ChatGPT, as you said, Google has 83% of the market share for search.
Yes.
And ChatGPT has 4%.
4.3.
4.3.
Even if you consider every prompt that you enter in ChatGPT as a search, which is probably not true, it still is only 4.3%.
But that's not bad considering it's such a relatively new...
That's an impressive number to have.
Yes.
And that's why Google has to take it seriously.
Yes.
It's a cause of concern, not a threat, but it's definitely a wake-up call.
Right. Now, because of this advancement in technology, and you said 1 year in AI and tech right now is like 1 year in any other industry in terms of development and progress. How worrying is it for people who don't understand technology that well? Are they at the risk of losing their jobs? Which industries do you think are directly facing this threat more than any other industry?
So Jatin, let me not sugarcoat, right?
Yeah.
AI will replace certain jobs.
Yeah.
And as late as last week, the World Economic Forum has come out with a revised report on the future of jobs.
Right.
And they say that 85 million jobs will be taken over by AI in 2025.
Right.
Now, these jobs are mainly into data processing, the frontline manufacturing industry, or the plain call center jobs. You don't need a human to tell you what your account balance is. Mm-hmm. You have AI to provide you with that.
And that's been there for a while.
Exactly.
But now it's going to be exponentially
adopted and things like that. Now you ask me which industries are at risk. Every single industry is at risk.
Wow.
Because AI is going to take over everything. Now, an interesting fact is, the same report also qualifies the number of opportunities that are going to be created by AI, and that is 97 million jobs. So you have a net gain of around 12 million. Now, where are these jobs coming from? Well, every single industry. Every single industry, from healthcare to agriculture to bio to transformation to manufacturing, they're all going to implement AI systems.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to help build the systems? Who's going to implement it?
Right.
Who's going to work on it? Who's going to maintain it? It's the people who understand the industry.
Yeah.
So AI is going to create a lot of tech jobs. AI, data scientist, specialist, and information security experts. But it's also going to create a lot of non-tech jobs as well. Subject matter experts,
right.
Safeguarding specialists, sustainability experts. So I would probably be not worrying about losing your job to AI. Now, there are 3 stages.
Yeah.
One is a role that is completely manual, that's being done today,
right,
without a big help of automation and AI. That's going to go away. Then the second stage is AI amplifies or kind of accelerates that particular job, but humans are still under control, and that's the phase that we will be there for next couple of decades. And then the third one is AI completely taking over and, it's replacing humans completely. So for a foreseeable future, I would worry about learning AI so that you're not replaced by somebody who knows AI rather than the AI itself.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, but this is a sort of trend that humans have been following, right? When we move from agricultural age to industrial age, people like the jobs are going to go away.
Absolutely,
and
right.
we're all going to be doomed.
Yes.
And then from industrial age to the internet age now to
AI age.
Proper AI age.
Yeah.
It is the same thought process that we might lose our jobs. But
Correct.
I think we find a way as civilization, and we somehow learn.
Correct.
And we pick our game up, we pull our socks, and we are ready for the next wave.
Correct. And that's exactly what will happen this time as well.
Yeah. when someone like Elon, as popular as Elon is within the AI and tech world, said something like robots and AI are a bigger threat to humanity than the global climate changes. What do you make of this? This is a big statement to make from someone like Elon.
When an expert or a genius like Elon says something, you can't ignore this.
Right.
Now, that words are spoken to bring some caution rather than panic is what I think. If you ask me personally, Krish, is AI going to take over humanity? My answer is no.
Right.
Not definitely the way you see in sci-fi movies and things like that, right? AI is a tool still. It's a powerful one, but it's still a tool, and it works within the constraints that humans have set in. So, I believe I am more worried about people misusing AI rather than AI taking the humanity.
Right.
And I believe AI is like, the nuclear energy.
Right.
Now, it can do a great, advancement to the human society, but it also can bring huge disaster.
Right.
So we'll have to treat AI like this, and we'll have to put the safeguards and the controls and governance around it. Let's say a quick answer to that is AI probably will not take over humanity. It's the bad humans that will misuse AI that will create issues.
Right. So you think that, from where I understand, and I'm not sure, don't quote me for it, but when Elon said that AI is dangerous, did he mean that it might someday have consciousness? Is that what he was trying to relate?
Well, so there are three stages of AI, right? One is artificial narrow intelligence. Everything that you see today, the open AI to Tesla's, auto driving to Google's, Siri, Apple Siri, and Google's, search engine. Everything is artificial narrow intelligence. It doesn't have a self-expand functionality, but it does a repetitive job so good.
Right.
Now, the next stage of it is artificial general intelligence, and that's where AI probably will do stuff and tasks equal to human brain, and it can reason well, and it can kind of understand, learn from its mistakes and things like that. I think that AGI to achieve, experts say it will take another 5 to 10 years. Some of them say it might be much earlier. And last stage of it is ASI. That is the super intelligence, and that's where people believe that AI might have consciousness. It will have mind of its own.
Wow.
It will, kind of outperform human abilities in every sense. Now, interesting fact is, some people say it will take another 2-3 decades for it to come. Some people say it will never come, and some of us don't even want to try for it, right? So we have a long years to go before AI getting consciousness.
Right.
Yes.
So AI gaining consciousness might be something of the future, but we can't ignore what's going on right now. AI is changing everything. Now, to adapt to this change, we need a new generation that understands AI, right? So I'm going to go back to what schools are doing right now. Are they preparing our generation or the generation to come to understand what AI is, to code, or maybe the coding is not needed right now. I don't even know, right? And that's where you're the expert to tell us. But are we preparing our generation who's going to come next for the new world that is going to be?
And education is going to be one of the most transformative things that you would see in the use of AI.
Right.
Before I talk to you about what schools has to teach, let me give you how education is going to be transformed, right? Mm-hmm. For first time ever in the human history, the learners will have learning choices. I will have the choice of where to learn, when to learn, from whom to learn, and how to learn from them through AI, right? I will have personalized learning paths in terms of adapting to exact style of my learning ability or my pace or the environment that I'm from. And the lessons will be taught in immersive delivery styles. For an example, if I were to learn about space, I will be in the space. Mm-hmm. If I were to learn about some historic monuments, I will be inside. Or human anatomy, I'll watch it up really, really close. And I think the content is going to be a very interesting thing. AI is going to curate content based on your age, based on your preferences, your learning types, and your regional, nuances of it and things like that. That was not the case. And the most important part of it is assessments are going to be real time.
Right.
AI is going to watch you 24/7, and it's going to judge you, your learning abilities, and where you are, and automatically adjust the criticality of it and the severity of it and the way the lessons are, and it's going to give interventions on how to actually improve your skills on that particular subject. And AI teachers are going to come. AI teachers are going to be 24/7.
That's where the new jobs will be.
Oh, absolutely. So AI teachers are avatar teachers.
Right.
They are going to be 24/7. They're going to be, learning what you do. They're going to be, guiding you both
Right.
from a, emotional standpoint and from, let's say, talking about the subjects, etc.
Yeah.
Now, typical traditional teachers will move away from being instructors to facilitators. They
Right.
are going to
Right.
talk about problem solving. They are going to teach you about collaborative work and all these things, right? And last but not the least, the administrative hassles that we have today is going to be taken away from AI. All those curriculum setting or scheduling and all these things. So the efficiency is going to improve by up to 50%. Now, that's what is going to happen in education. Now, let's see what schools has to be teaching. I would say they'll have to be teaching IQ, EQ, and AQ. Now, IQ from understanding what AI is, the technical skills of it. How do you learn Python as a coding or Scratch? How do you work with AI platforms? How do you create a small SLM? How do you create a recommendation engine and things like that? EQ is about critical thinking. How do you creatively solve problems? How do you take a world problem and see a technology that can marry? How do you collaboratively work with a global audience? That kind of a things on EQ.
Right.
AQ is more important. AQ is about awareness quotient, a big picture of AI, the impact it will have on societies, the bias and fairness that you need to be very, very careful on, the governance that you need to have at every step of AI development. I think if schools can teach the students at a young age all IQ, EQ, and AQ, then we are good to go.
Wow. I mean, this feels like it's going to take a while before schools can actually start making this change. Or do you think they've already started making any change at all?
We've started in baby steps in most of the schools across developed countries. I'm sure there is a lot to go when it comes to everybody catching up, but that's exactly the plan. And even UNESCO and the world government organizations are actually taking this seriously and wondering how we can impart this kind of new way of teaching into all the schools across the globe.
Wow. So now what I understand is schools are going to change completely. The way they're going to teach is going to change. The entire set of new teachers would come in with brand new style of education. And that's going to transform one generation from one age to another, right? Now, with this also means that it's not only schools. Every industry will have to transform, right? Now, technology is increasing and changing like the speed of light. Do you think these big 5-7 companies like Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA, they don't have a product per se, they have product for B2B, but Apple, Microsoft, all of these companies, are they innovating enough to match the speed at which things are changing?
So this is a huge race, and I believe everybody is taking critical efforts to actually be the number one. Now, yes, you understand that OpenAI is one of the best LLMs out there,
right?
And it's by far outperforming all the other LLMs in a holistic way. But let's not forget, the entire LLM as a concept or transformers in general was invented by Google. I was using Google's T5 much before even ChatGPT was born. Right. And their Gemini as a LLM that they've created new is absolutely doing wonders in research. And then you have Anthropic, the Claude, one of the best AI when it comes to enterprise use and AI safety guardrails and things like that. And you have Grok, one of the fastest LLM out there for real-time alerts and real-time news, etc. And then you have Llama. Llama is by far from Meta, by far the best open LLM out there. Does fantastically well for reasoning, fantastically well for lightweight applications, for privacy-based task applications, etc. And then you saw, last week, DeepSeek that came and actually, created a big storm in the industry. Now, it's surprising to note that they've spent $6 million in training their new model called R1, which in comparison, the other firms spent millions and millions of dollars in training. And now that is going to be the talk of the town for months to come, because R1 is performing as good, if not better, than the O1 of OpenAI. I think it's a race. Now, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, everybody was talking about Sora, right? The video generation platform. Oh, this is greatest invention ever, kind of a thing. And then Google introduced VO2. Now that kind of made Sora look a little dumb, right? So that race is always on, and these companies are competing like hell in trying to up each other up.
Yeah, with DeepSeek, early days, I know they've said that they've invested about $6 million and done some part-time work to create DeepSeek. But we'll know in time.
Correct. It just goes to prove that you can improvise.
You can improvise
on anything, and you can always make anything better, faster, cheaper, and that's the game.
So it's a tight race.
Yes.
So you have Microsoft, you have Google, you have Meta, and the likes who are competing, creating new technologies every single day. Where is Apple in the scheme of things in the race? Where is Apple?
Okay, I'm not going to be talking as technologist, but I'm going to be talking as one of the hard fans of Apple, and I've been using Apple products since 2000.
Yeah.
I think Apple missed the bus.
Okay.
They haven't done enough on AI, and frankly, the Apple intelligence is suboptimal and subpar when you compare to all the other giants that are there. So I am a little disappointed. I sincerely hope with the kind of engineers that they have, the kind of investments that they can make, they will come with a huge surprise that kind of will be better than everybody else. That's a sincere hope, and I wish that happens.
No, I hope they do, because I'm an Apple fan. But really, I don't even understand what Apple Intelligence really does, except for, hey, Siri, wake me up at this time or that time. I really don't know. Maybe I need to learn more. But I've been using other platforms extensively, but I don't know how to use Apple Intelligence yet.
I agree with you. And it's not you. There is a lot of people who have that same sentiments. And I sincerely hope and I trust Apple has the ability to come and surprise us with something cool very, very soon. But as of now,
they're behind in the race.
They are very behind the race, yes.
Well, we'll see how future unfolds for them. Let's talk a little bit about digital transformation. With all of these changes, companies have to transform.
Yes.
Right? A report in McKinsey said that 70% of digital transformations in companies normally fail.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. So what do you think that's the reason for such a big fail in digital transformation efforts in companies? And is there something that you would recommend to companies, or what would you do if you had to push a digital transformation in a company?
No, so McKinsey is right. I think almost 70% of all digital transformations fail in reaching at least one or two of the objectives, whether it is time, budget, the outcomes of it, or the quality of it. Now, having done several successful implementations, digital transformations, and some failed ones, having a lot of scar tissues at the back, I can say few things, fundamental things that will need to help you in the success of digital transformation. Right. The first and foremost is having the vision. Why are you doing this digital transformation? What are you transforming? And I think that vision is really, really important. And second is to identify the stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? How are you solving their problems? What is their well-being? How do they perceive this particular transformation is critical, and to manage their expectations, right? And third one is about getting the stakeholder buy-in. Now, whether it is budgets or participation or involvement of the business users, stakeholders buy-in is absolutely critical.
Right.
And meticulous planning. How do you break down large chunks into manageable implementations?
Right.
How do you start small? How do you experiment, learn from it, and then do it? So meticulous planning is really, really important. And a great execution. I think execution is where most of the projects fail.
Right.
You can have wonderful planning, but when it comes to execution and the governance around it, a strict governance on what's happening, if there are any risks that needs to be mitigated, etc. Change management, ensuring that each and every level of the organization is ready for that change is absolutely important. Culture is the most important thing. You need to have the culture of innovation, culture of collaboration.
And it's also one of the most difficult things to change,
Absolutely,
I believe.
absolutely. Because you can have the world's best systems, and if the culture is not right, and if you haven't done the change management, you're going to fail. And last but not the least, this continuous improvement loop. This is not a destination. This is a journey, right? You continuously strive for better.
Yeah.
How do you create that feedback loop? How do you then reset, recalibrate, and then do it all over again? I think those basic things will differentiate between a successful implementation and a failed one.
Right. But do you think in the future, with all the digital transformation, the company might replace a human and make a robot CEO?
Wow. Okay. I think AI can replace certain aspects of a CEO. Well, it can predict outcomes. It can actually come up with good strategies, and it can probably, come up with some operational changes that is needed to increase the efficiencies, etc. But Jatin, I think the CEOs are not just decision makers, right? They create this compelling vision. They kind of take the whole organization together with them. They inspire them. They be an example. I think they deal with a lot of human, complicated emotions, none of which AI can do. So I think AI will become CEOs? Not anytime soon.
Right, thank you. I was a bit worried about my position. One other question that's sort of troubling me a little bit is, let's say musicians, they're skilled people, musicians, they can now lend their voice and AI can do a lot. So do you think jobs or industries like skilled industries, creative industries like musicians, or I see a lot of ads now being replaced by AI models, so modeling, all of these creative jobs are also at a bit of a risk? What do you think?
I believe creative jobs will be enhanced by AI. A lot of manual things happening around production or around the creative process is something that can be replaced, and the true creativity would stand, is my opinion. Yes, you would see news here and there saying, okay, AI is creating their own original songs and things like that. How far will that go, and whether the true originality will ever be taken by AI is something we have to see. But in my opinion, it will augment the artistic process rather than completely replace it.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if I look at my own company and if I want to create an ad for myself right now, the entire process of hiring a model and then shooting, etc., and there are multiple things.
That's going to go away. That's going to go away. Yes.
So that disrupts a number of things.
Absolutely.
A modeling career maybe.
Yes.
And this is already happening. I've seen some ads which are AI generated. I think one of the biggest brands, I think Adidas or someone.
Yes, a car brand actually did. One of the car brands did completely developed by AI within 60 hours. Yeah, what would have taken an year or so.
Yeah.
I think. While the creativity probably would rest with human in terms of how to plan this ad and how to make this scene, what kind of stories, etc., the actors or the way in which that output is produced will completely be taken over by AI. Yes, most of the creative process might be taken by AI. Yes.
Right. That's very, very interesting. And so when you look at self-driving cars, you think that technology will be ever coming to India, or will be coming anytime soon? Because the roads in India and the kind of driving sense that there is. What do you think of that? It's a question that intrigues me all the time.
Well, I think, I have to go back in time, and I have to compare, the roads of 10 years ago versus the roads of now, and I think I see a significant improvement. I think the complexity of auto driving not only involves the quality of roads, but also regulatory concerns and the way in which the landmarks are, and how the road markings are, and how different exits are, and things like that. I believe automatic car has to come to every single country, but the adoption probably will differ. Maybe it will start with cities and then eventually end up in small cities, etc. Yes.
Right. Okay. So let's get to our final segment. Whatever we've had a conversation on today tells me that there is going to be a lot of work for everybody. Things are going to change, and everyone will have to adapt, work extra hard, and get their act going. Especially the people who are driving the industry, the AI industry, the tech guys, just like yourself. You anyway never had a 9 to 5. Tech people never have a 9 to 5.
We don't.
Now it's only going to increase. What's your coping up mechanism to the number of hours that you're putting in?
Well, nature is my stress buster, right? At every given opportunity, you would see me wandering on Western Ghats, going into forests, looking at wildlife in its natural habitat.
Right.
So I'm a nemophilist at heart, and I think it kind of gives you a lot of opportunity to reset, recalibrate, and kind of rejuvenate. So that's my stress buster, and I'm sure each one has to have their own little way to kind of. How do you reset and then go back? It's not going to be easy, as in any case anyway.
Yeah. Right. Well, wonderful. Let's get on to this fun segment that we have. We call it the rapid fire.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot about 7 to 8 questions to you.
Okay.
You get about 10 seconds to answer each.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And be as honest, candid as you can.
Okay.
Right. Let's start.
Yes.
Okay. So, biggest myth about AI that you'd like to debunk?
The biggest myth about AI is a lot of people think it's magic.
Right.
It's absolutely not a magic. It's a great piece of technology with a lot of engineering, data, and computation. So, it's not magic.
Okay, it's not magic. Well, do you think AI could ever replace CEOs? I already asked you that.
Yeah.
And your answer was no.
No.
No, right.
Not anytime soon?
Not anytime soon. One AI tool or platform you think everyone should try?
I would suggest going on to rundown.ai. It's a collection of all the AI tools out there,
right?
Differentiated and categorized by segments and usage and things like that. And I think if you are wanting to use AI tools in your life, that's one good library that you would want to go.
So it's like a website?
It's a website, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it again?
Rundown.ai.
Rundown.ai. I'm going to go check it out after this podcast. What's one tech trend you secretly think is overrated?
Okay. I think NFTs. Okay. While the underlying technology is really good, unfortunately, today NFTs are synonym with scams and volatile and let's say having high cost of energy to develop them and maintain them, because most of them are in the old blockchain technology.
Yeah.
Unless something changes, I think it's overrated.
Okay. Right. If AI could grant you one superpower, what would it be?
Okay, so it's probably an ability to predict and understand before a crisis happens.
Right.
Whether it is healthcare crisis or climate or technology, because I would want to have that superpower to save millions of people if I can.
Right. Wow, that's a great thought. And since you mentioned that you love nature, this question, I just made this up right now. AI or snakes, which is more scarier?
AI, because snakes are predictable, right? And even if something goes wrong, the impact is minimal.
Right.
It's not that big. But if AI goes out of hand, it's going to be a huge impact for humanity. So AI is scarier than snakes.
AI is scarier than snakes. Wow. Okay, well, this brings us to the end. Thank you so much, Krish. I mean,
Thank you so much.
This conversation is really close to my heart because I'm driven by AI and technology myself. And to have a chat with you and understand where AI is really been great. So, Krish, this brings us to an end of our show. What a fabulous conversation we've had. Just before we end, do you want to leave a message or any thoughts with our audience?
Absolutely, Jatin. I want to share this deep thought, that I had. We created machines, right? And machines are today gaining knowledge and working, seamlessly with other machines, connecting through IoTs and things like that. And it's learning from mistakes. And it's also doing decisions on a democratic manner using Web3 and blockchains. If machines can do it, why not humans? I think it's time for us to stop dividing each other in the name of race, religion, politics, or borders, and connect to face this world that's in front of us with millions of possibilities. Right. I think that's my message.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's a great message, Krish, and I'm hoping that together and putting in our energies and possibilities, our thoughts, our abilities, will create a better AI and tech world for the future.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for this invite, Jatin. I really enjoyed this conversation.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.